Hi, I'm David Webley, Managing Director of Granite Consulting, a global trusted recruitment firm specialising in the areas of technology and business project services. Welcome to Granite Journeys, where we bring you stories behind individuals. We hope you enjoy hearing about the journeys these people have been on during the course of their lives.
My name's Richard Stockton. I've been in technology for over 21 years. Started off as a developer in 1990 something, and I spent a lot of my time in my former years in the UK working for a big insurance company over there, and met my wife over there, so spent a lot longer than I had planned, and we emigrated to Australia in 2008. So thanks for having us. So my top measures of success are happiness and enjoyment. When my happiness starts decreasing, I start enjoying my job a lot less, and it demotivates me. So success habits would be making sure that there's something that I enjoy every single day when I go to work. Plan ahead and make sure you get that sort of short to medium term view of the things that you're going to enjoy when you get there and the people that you want to spend time with. It would be to ask you to let me tell you two things. So the one thing I would say is choose a job that you're passionate about. Don't choose an industry because you think it's going to pay you well. Choose something that you're absolutely passionate about and you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life, because that's what a job is. It's a 30 to 40 year commitment that you've got to really thoroughly enjoy. But I would say that there's something else that I learned probably about 5 years ago, and I wish I'd learned when I was 21, was set some non-negotiables. So evaluate yourself, have a think about internally what your values are and what your principles are, and pick 3 things that you would say, I'm not crossing the line on these 3, and they're my non-negotiables, and no matter what somebody asks me to do, I won't be doing those 3 things. The turning point in my career was when I was asked to recover a data center consolidation program for a major health insurer. What I did when I first got into the team was I set up a workshop with a whole lot of information on the walls beforehand, and the team came in, all the technical leads, and I proceeded to tell them how we were going to deliver this program of work, which was actually exactly the same thing that the previous program manager was doing. Needless to say, 2 weeks later we were still struggling to deliver anything, and I still had a totally disengaged team. But if I tracked back and found the root cause of why that was happening, I tracked it back to that initial workshop. So 2 weeks later I booked the exact same workshop, the exact same attendees, and I admitted that I'd made a huge mistake, apologized to the team, and made sure that I actually got their inputs on how we were going to deliver the program together, and asking the technical experts to actually take the lead on designing their individual components of that program. So I'd say that was a turning point in most of our careers from the team that was working on that program. An extra hour every day would be spent with my family. Made a big mistake probably about 8 years ago when we first moved to Australia, trying to build a reputation here in the technology industry in Melbourne, and I overcommitted myself way too much into my job. Lost my values, lost my non-negotiables, and I lost my time management. I'd say time management is one of the keys to success, and if I had an hour extra every day, I'd spend it with my family and value that time before they grow up without you. Okay, so this is an interesting one because I'd say choose your role model very wisely. Choosing a mentor is a lot easier because you can choose an attribute of somebody that you admire, and you can try and take that on. Choosing a role model though, you have to almost take that whole person's sort of view on life and the way that they conduct themselves. And so for me as a Christian, my role model would be Jesus. And I watch how he walked on the earth and how he treated people. And I would say, treat others as you want to be treated. And I'd say, be humble. And I'd say, serve people, because the way that you serve people is the way they'll serve you, and people will be drawn to you and want to be a part of what you're delivering. If I had to include one meal item for the rest of my life, I'd say I'd want to include chocolate, but I'd say at my age, I'll probably have to include Metamucil. If I could be any animal in the world, I'd have to be a dog, because I'm pretty loyal and I'm pretty fun-loving, and it probably sounds like I'm on a dating show now, but at least you sort of get to chill out for most of the day and not work too hard. What book would I recommend to a colleague? I would say I'm not a great reader. If anything, I read probably business articles and health and fitness articles. I also read white papers on new technology and what's coming out specifically for my role. If I had to say, here's something I learned from, I'd probably say, go back to my Christian roots, and there's lessons all over the place in the Bible. Pick a book and start reading. My absolutely favorite quote in the whole world would be, with God all things are possible. And I've actually tested this out at work on multiple occasions, and many people have been surprised with the outcomes. So continue to believe, continue to have faith, and you can make a lot of things happen and turn things around.
Can you give us an example of when you've used that at work and it's surprised people?
Yeah, I can absolutely give you an example of when that happened. Delivering projects and being sort of lead in technology delivery for many of my last years in work, things go wrong. Things go wrong all the time. And it actually makes me quite cross when people say that, oh, they've delivered all their projects perfectly and nothing's ever gone wrong, because then I can't get an understanding of where they've drawn or built their character from, because mistakes create character. So I'd say we made a couple of mistakes along the way, and when those mistakes happen and they can actually cause quite a lot of impact, you start to draw very, very strongly from deep wells of perseverance, and you have to stay pretty focused on fixing the issues. During a move that I ran previously, we managed to cut our entire network off from the outside world. And when you have transactions that need to run in real time, and this can pose immense problems. And we probably had the company down for a couple of hours. Fortunately, it wasn't a planned outage, but you never know when it's going to come back up. And I think drawing on your beliefs there and sort of saying a couple of choice prayers rather than choice words that a lot of people might be like four-letter words that they might be tempted to use, actually comes in incredibly handy. And we actually found that we called a timeout because we had been up overnight for over probably about 8 hours implementing, and the guys were just really, really exhausted. So we called a timeout for half an hour for people to go home and sleep. Or not go home and sleep, but sleep where we were. And I spent that half an hour actually praying. And funnily enough, we got a response during that half an hour from a vendor that provided us a patch for our firewall, because we were one patch behind. And that patch arrived and they started loading it up, and we saw the interfaces start coming up about an hour after. So yeah, with God all things are possible, even computer problems.